When you're interviewing your customer and qualifying them for the sale, don't assume that your potential customer knows how things work because of their history or knowledge or experience, even if, and especially if they say, don't worry, let's skip this step. I learned that selling high-end mortgages, high-end home loans, after many years of doing that, and I was about to do that exact mistake in my testimonial and videography business. Listen up for more.
You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Mischa Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy.
When I was in the home loan business, I probably interviewed 1,000 plus people. I don't know how many I interviewed for a home loan, but I learned some very, very valuable lessons. And in home loans, basically, you've got sort of the lower end of the market, and this is by no means. I'm talking about dollar value of home loans. So you've got the lower dollar end of the market, and this is in California as well. So this is skewed, and this is all from 10, 15 years ago as well. Anyway, my average loan amount when I was at Wells Fargo was about $500,000 to $600,000. That was a pretty good sized loan amount at the time. And then when I was at Mutual of Omaha Home Loans, my average loan amount was $1 million. And at that time, that was a healthy loan amount for California, coastal California area. And why I say that is that I was dealing with the higher end of the home loan market value-wise. So I would do home loans for, vice presidents, general managers, CEOs, legitimate entrepreneurs that we could document serious income. In other words, I would get their tax returns, their partnership returns, their K1s, their all that fun stuff, all their S Corp, C Corp info, and these types of individuals. How do I want to say this? Usually super busy. Not that everybody's not super busy, but they were very straightforward, to the point. They'd want their quote. And the battle was on. So I'd get them on the phone. I'd send up my flyers and do my telemarketing campaigns and get the phones to ring and get people on the phones. And this actually applies to the lower end of the market, I'm sure, as well. Where you get someone on the phone and they say, just give me a quote. This is, I just need a quote. What's today's rate? And so whoever got their information first won. And so I always and I dealt in A-paper loans, so I was not in the subprime debacle where I just got to skip getting all this information. But you, generally speaking, needed to know their income, their assets, so that's their checking, savings, stocks, bonds, all that sorts of stuff. Then their credit. You needed, their credit score, their work history for at least 2 years, and their residence history for at least 2 years. And then you needed to know the property information. So if it was a refinance, what's the value of the house? If they were buying, well, what's the purchase price or the anticipated purchase price? And so you'd get somebody on the phone and the battle was on, and I needed to qualify the person to make sure that I knew that they qualified. And so they just wanted their quote so they could just make sure they're getting the best deal. And in a perfect world for them, it always felt like, hey, they just wanted a quote, and then whoever gave them the best quote, then they'd start giving out the information. Well, I would not give out a quote until I had all that information. And so what would happen is you get a busy, vice president of such and such corporation that knows they qualify because they've qualified for home loans before, and I just need $1 million loan and give me the rate so I know. And I would always, whenever I did that, almost 100% of the time, whenever I just gave out the quote without qualifying accordingly, I would not get that deal. So my go-to was totally understand, Mr. or Mrs. VP. Let me just get a couple questions answered, and then I'll get you your quote. And so I would start at the beginning of my pitch. All right, where do you currently work? Great. Go through all that. And then it was, okay, great. Now give me my quote. Just a couple more questions, sir or ma'am, and I'll get you your quote. Great. Let's talk about your credit. I already know I qualify. La, 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 la. Okay, Mr. or Mrs. VP, I totally understand. Just a couple more questions. Let me, get these couple of last questions answered, and we'll give you your quote. And that's doing a couple of things. One, it's making sure that I do indeed know they qualify, so I'm not wasting my time. And then the other big thing is it's letting the person who's buying, whether it's a mortgage or video production services, which I'm in now, or whatever it is that, if it's a higher ticket item, it's letting them know that you know what you're doing. And I just found that again and again and again. And usually by the end of the conversation, I'd asked all the questions. The borrower was super confident, super comfortable with me. They felt like, hey, wait a minute. This guy extracted all that information out of me. He knows what he's doing. He's going to be the guy to get my loan done for me. And I just found that again and again and again. And I was willing to lose deals. If somebody wouldn't give me the information, I wouldn't give them the rate, and bye-bye, they'd hang up. Didn't have to happen all the time, but now and then, meaning that people would usually break and give me the information before I did. And if they wouldn't give me the information, then they were just totally looky-loos anyway, and it wasn't real, and they were just trying to feel good about the commitment to the other lender or the commitment to the other company that they'd already made, if that makes sense. And as I'm building a new business in the videography space, the testimonial space, helping you gather your customer testimonials, your social proof, I'm helping you craft your videos to help you sell online. I noticed that as people were asking me to give them quotes, I was super scared to get the information that I needed. Right? Like that's the hurdle that you get to go through whenever you're starting a business, or maybe you have a business now and you're not closing as many deals as you want to. And I would challenge you that you're giving out information, your prices, before you've gotten all the information that you need, so A, they're a customer that's worth working with, and B, that you've, in effect, proven you know what you're doing. And again, so I found this happening with a few prospects. They were asking me information, and I just assumed well, I was trying to get information from them, and I was hesitant to ask, and they were at a certain level of success, or so I thought, and so, well, they were, and so I was like, oh gosh, I won't press them for this information, or, what are they going to think, or I'd find that they would want to brush over a couple of the key bits of information that I needed, and I was like, wait a minute, I've been through these types of scenarios before. And so I was like, okay, I've got to get A, B, C, and D bits of information so that I can give them a real quote, so I know it's a real deal and a real opportunity. And I recently, so that's good. And that was a valuable lesson, and I'm getting better deals and more realistic quotes out there, and all those things, all the benefits from coming from what I've done. But really what I wanted to tell you was there was this really juicy opportunity hanging out in front of me, and they were not giving me the information, and they were being a pain in the butt. I was like, where's the location? How's this going to shake out? Like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I kept on hearing all these things. Oh, don't worry about it. We know what you're doing, or what we're doing. You don't need to know that. You don't need to know that. Trust us. That's the line that your potential customer is telling you. Oh, don't worry about that. You don't need to know that. Trust us. And I'd been through, my awareness was high of these situations again. And so I was like, you know what? And in fact, I was like, nope, I'm not going to just give you a quote or just show up, and it's not just going to happen. So I'm going to walk away from the deal. And I got to say that they were kind of shocked that I wasn't playing ball. But I can't tell you the sense of relief that I got from stepping away and realizing that I would have been entering into a super wonky situation. Anyway, I hope there's some valuable info in here, and that you had fun listening to this. And I'm literally going down my episode ideas list and checking off the boxes and finishing up some episode ideas. All right, everyone, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.